Good morning. This is lecture 3 on module 2, Introduction to Computer Software. First of all, you need to understand the learning objective. For at the end of this course, it is expected that you should understand the following item as outlined in this slide. You should be able to present a sound definitions of software. Also, you should be able to differentiate between different categories of computer software, and you should further know the explanations, or you explain the functions of a user interface. You should also be able to give some basic features of computer software, and then state the common applications of a software. And finally, you should be able to demonstrate a good software installations process. So before we begin, what is a computer software? A very important component. Computer as a whole is made up of the hardware, which is the physical component that you see and you can touch, like the keyboard, like the monitor, like the output units such as the printers, accessories connected to the computers. On the other hand, you have the computer software that, together with the hardware, accomplish the basic tasks of processing, which is the basic tasks of computing, processing and informations. Computer software is a set of instruction or predefined set of instruction that the computer follow in order to accomplish the basic tasks of computing. And what is the basic task of computer? For every computer, what is expected is you give an input. Once an input is given to the computer's devices, it is expected that this input has been processed by some dedicated components of computer devices, and then the output is displayed through the suitable output units. So this processes that is done is the processing is done according to a predefined set of instructions, and this is why before coming to display, you hear people unofficially say computer is garbage in, garbage out. Yes, it is garbage in because those predefined set of instructions is what the computers follow accordingly whenever it wants to perform any given task. You take, for instance, if you want to find an average of 5 numbers, for instance, the predefined set of instruction, in that case, at a high level, or the pseudocode that might explain that is, if you're writing a pseudocode as a predefined set of instruction, could be you request your users to input those 5 numbers, then you define the processing that will be performed on those 5 numbers, and we can call it a sum. We can say a sum is equal to A plus B plus C plus D plus E, and then the average, of course, is sum all over the total number of items we are under consideration, which is 5 as in this case. So your average is going to be the sum, which is the result of summing the input you have sent earlier. You sum it up and then divide it by 5 as in this case, and then you print the output, or you get the output. So these are set of instructions that the computer follow in order to perform or to compute the average of 5 number of students. So the processing in this case is the summation, the computation of the average. These are the processes that have taken place, as this diagram clearly explained. Then the input, of course, the input goes into the processing units for it to be processed through an input unit called, a typical example of which we are very familiar, is the keyboard, and then the output can be the monitor, you're looking at the process informations, or sometimes you might send them to a printer. So in summary, a computer software is a set of instructions that the computers follow in order to perform the basic tasks of computing, which is what the processing of information at whatever levels. So we have different types of computer softwares. There are two main types of computer software. These are the system software and the applications software. So we first look at the systems software, and these are pre-written software by the manufacturer to enhance and coordinate the operations of the hardware. Typically with our applications software that we use for our daily life, without the appropriate system software, this application software, like your Microsoft Office, you want to type your documents, your Adobe Reader that you need to read your PDF files, your many other applications cannot communicate with the underlying hardware, with the hardware itself, without the help of the systems software. So a system software are those softwares that were designed to serve as an interface, serve as a link between the application software and the underlying hardware which the software or the application resides on. So the internal structure of a computer are controlled by a system software called the operating systems. So operating systems is the most important computer as software. So looking at the system software is further classified into operating systems and the utility programs. So the operating systems primarily serve as an interface between the users and the hardware. It's like I've said earlier, the primary objectives of operating system is to link, to serve as an interface, to link, to enable this application software to talk with the hardware. You are working on your Word document, for instance, you are working on your presentation PowerPoint, for instance. Those from your in the previous module or lecture 2, we're told that when you're working on any document, they reside on the RAM, a primary memory. So how do this input you're inputting from the keyboard get processed and have a space in the RAM? It is the operating system. With that operating system linking this application software and the underlying hardware, communication will not take place. So the primary objective or the primary functions of the operating system is to serve as an interface, a link, a medium that links the application software and the hardware itself. Yes. Also, the operating system determines which users use any shared resources by implementing algorithms such as round robin, face in, face out, and so on. Yes, a computer ordinarily executes attacks one after the other, but operating systems is saddled with the responsibility of ensuring the multiple resources that reside within the computers are able to adequately share the common resources like the RAM, common resources like the internal hardware, common resources like the printer, common resources like network devices. So the OS is responsible or ensure that the multiple applications that reside within the computer devices are share the resources, or share the computer's resources, and this is implemented using some algorithms like the round robin, like the face in, face out. Yes, face in, face out. It might follow the protocol that the processes or the application that want to access the resources, the one that comes first, should be assigned the needed resources. So they access the shared resources in first come first come order. Sometimes it might access the shared resources using using the round robin, using the facing. Sometimes it might use the priority algorithm, very important algorithms. Priority algorithms, this is to enable, so these resources or resources or processes that want to use the shared resources have a priority. So the one with the higher priority, when it is coming, it is giving a space to the shared resources very first. If you take, for instance, if you're working on your document on a operating system, in your computing devices, and you decide to shut the system down, the shutting of a system is a process, but the fact that it has the highest priority, any function or any processes that is ongoing within the systems is paused. Attention will be drawn to your action or the process that want to shut the systems. So the algorithm that is implemented in that case is the priority algorithms. So it can therefore be said that operating system manage the entire activities of a computer system, starting from booting to shutting down of the operating system. So examples of operating systems are the Microsoft DOS operating system, MS-DOS, one of the earlier generations of the operating system. The Windows itself, by the Microsoft Office, we have different versions of the Windows 2000, Windows XP, Windows Vista, it's popularly called the Fell window, Windows 7, 8, and up to Windows 11. So they are window-based operating systems, and this type of operating system are licensed. It is owned by Microsoft corporations. Other operating systems are the Linux operating system, the Mac operating system, the Unix, and of course the Android. We use Android, or we call Android phone, we call that word many times without knowing that yes, it is an operating system. It is the software that actually connect or interface between the hardware component of your mobile device, of your smartphone, and the application you're using, like the Facebook, like your WhatsApp, like your word processing documents. Utility programs. Utility programs are also a pre-install. Often, as in most cases, they are part of the OS, but sometimes it can come as a standalone applications. So sometimes, most of the time, it comes with as a part of the operating system with a major tasks of optimization, configuration analysis, and maintenance. So what are the tasks that are performed by the utility programs? Among them are disk defragmentation, cleansing of these, manage printer, and other devices. So these are some of the functions, or these are some of the things that the utility programs can handle within the computer's system. Example of utility programs are antivirus. Yes, antivirus. The antivirus, we install them in our computing devices with the aim to defend against virus that might cause danger to our programs. File management through disk management tools, compression. So disk management is very common. Sometimes when you're working with your computing devices, you've seen a message popping up that your disk space is almost filled up. So sometimes these programs observe that your data within your memory devices are not well stacked. Maybe there are some space in between. So when you run these tools, it create additional space by compress your data or compress your files into a fixed location so that you can have more space. Other tools like the compression tool, disk cleansing tools, disk fragmentations, recovery tool, among others. These are all examples of utility programs. So in a whole, utility programs are part of OS or standalone system that aid or help to improve the performance of computing devices. Applications software. Remember, we say we have two basic types of applications we have two basic types of computer software. We say the system software and now the application software. The system software, we earlier say it is divided into the application, this OS and the utility programs. Now the applications program. These are programs designed to handle specific tasks or support certain process. They are specifically designed to handle a specific task. That is one of the renowned attributes of applications program. It directs the computer to execute instruction presented by the user. It depends on the system software to carry out the tasks of increasing the productivities of user. Yes, the application, one of the major attributes of the application programs is that it depends on the system software, specifically the operating system to perform its functions. A typical example of application software, I keep mentioning Microsoft Office because we are all very, very familiar with it. So Microsoft Office is an example of applications software. Your Facebook applications are example of application software. Your Microsoft, your Adobe Reader that can help you to read your PDF files, among other. These are examples of applications softwares. So there are two types of application softwares. This general purpose application software and the specific purpose applications software. So the general purpose software are designed to handle a variety of tasks. So that is the major difference between the general purpose and the specific. So the general purpose is designed to handle many tasks. Example is the word processor. In a word processor, you can type your Word document, you can perform your computation using the Excel sheet, you can draw your graph sheet, you can your presentations, you can prepare your lecture note from the PowerPoint presentation, and a host of other applications that are built within the Microsoft Office. So on a whole, the general purpose application software is designed to handle a variety of tasks, not just a specific task as the case for the specific purpose applications. So the specific purpose applications are designed to handle a task for a given users, e.g. Example, a system that control a military plane. If you design a control systems that monitor or control the movements of aeroplane within the airspace, such application is fall within the realm of the specific purpose applications. A system for hotel booking that is specifically used for a given hotel, or a system to manage student record at a university, student system to record to manage record within the hospital, within the various organizations, a system that can predict to monitor the atmospheric temperature, system that predict rainfall. These are all examples of specific purpose application. Why? Because they are solely designed to handle a specific task. So the scope of the tasks they perform differentiate between the general purpose and the specific purpose application softwares. So next we look at the characteristics of a computer software. There are several characteristics of for anything to be called a computer software. It need to exhibit some or all of these attributes, or some that are not even mentioned here, because this might not be all characteristics of application software, but this fall among the applications characteristics of a computer software. So for any to be termed a computer software, it must possess the following characteristics. Functionality: one, it must be designed to handle a specific, to perform a specific functions. You have an application that is able to read the atmospheric temperature. That software must specifically perform its functions of predicting the temperature. If you design an applications that compute or manage student record, that application should perform that functionality as it is designed for. Otherwise, it does not possess a good attribute of a computer software. Now, next is the reliability. For anything or for a software, it must be reliable. Reliability in terms of giving the right answer, giving the right output as it has been designed. Reliability in terms of its robustness to failure. Reliability in terms of recovery from failure when it eventually fails. Yes, scientifically, it is believed that no system is not liable to fail, but when it fails, the recovery time should be minimal. So in that case, the recovery procedures and processes must be put into consideration when designing your computer's software. Usability. When you design your computer software, it should be in such a way that your users, most of the software the developer develops are in a domain or in a problem area that they are not familiar with. So if your users cannot easily use your computer software, it doesn't possess a good attribute of a computer software. If you take, for instance, when we want to install, because at the end of this course we say you're going to demonstrate software installation processes. I just want to cite that example as a typical example of a usability attribute of a computer's software. Most of the applications that we attempt to install, because of this usability attribute of it, they are made in such a way that almost every person that can read and write can easily install most of the computer's software. In most cases, you download, you click, you say yes, you continue to click yes, and then you sign to agree by ticking I have agreed. The condition, we don't know what the condition is in most cases because we hardly read what the condition is, but on this note we tick it and we say yes until we click finish and our software is installed on our computing devices. This is a typical example of a usability. It makes it easier for your users to efficiently use it. Efficiency, computer results are more efficient. You give efficient results. They, unlike human being, that sometimes, not that he doesn't know, but fatigue and others things might set in and you begin to give abnormal results. So computer results are more efficient. Computer results are always correct. Maintainability. One of the major things we consider as a software developer is needs, and the scope of work we intend to do definitely change over time. So when the needs change and there is a need to upgrade the software, it is a good practice that you can easily integrate those components. You can easily integrate the component you need to add to your software rather than you designing a new system. So if your system is in such a way that whenever there is a need, you go back to design the whole thing, that system does not exhibit the attribute of the maintainability attribute of a computer software. Then the portability. Computer software should be portable. It should not be absolutely platform dependent. It should function in the different operating systems, different hardware devices. It should be portable. It should be easily moved from one device to the other, from one platform to the other. To the other. If your software is just designed, it can only function within a given computer devices, that software is not portable and it doesn't possess the good attribute of a computer software. The functions and applications of computer software. One, operating systems management. I think we have talked a lot about the operating systems management. So one of the applications of computer software is to manage how the operating system manage or coordinate the entire activities of a computer's processes. Then automations of tasks. Computer systems have made it possible for for us to perform an automated task. Other areas like the accounting applications, computers have significantly performed very well in the area of accounting. Most of the applications they use been designed or are from the computers. Computer software. Then you have the graphical users, graphical applications. We have computers applications that are used in the graphics. We have a lot of, you have 3 dimensions. You have creating even problem to some extent with the graphics. Your pictures can be taken sitting in a hotel somewhere while you have never been there. This is achieved using computers. Graphic communication fundamentally have improved the way we do things. In our classes, we have WhatsApp group that we communicate our lecture time. We share lecture material, we share lecture times among our tutorial times. So computer have effectively upgraded or improved the communication, not to talk of the telecommunications industries, not to talk of the various applications that have been gaming. Yes, gaming computers have significantly proved to prove a worldly experience. So I have added some professional and very knowledgeable gaming programs. So we have the education purpose. Computer have significantly, or they have been used in education purpose. Among those this course we are taking, we're using the LMS, which is one of the education's part of a software. It's a software that enable the recording. It's a software that processing, edit our recording, and the software that enable you to interact with the lecture materials. Though this typical example of applications of computers in education sector. Then finally, we demonstrate installing and running a computer's software. As I have said earlier, installation of computer software have been made to be so easy, to be so simple today. Yes, and that exhibits the usability attribute of a computer software. So installation is the act or process of setting up a computer program software. Installation is the act or process of setting up a program or software package to work within a computer system. So you need to have a Facebook in your system. You want to use a Facebook in your system, you download it and you install. Without the installation, you cannot use it. So any other applications, your software that you do your class, you announce your class and share your lecture materials. For you to have it or for you to use it, you must undergo the installations software. Sources of software, you can download it from the internet. For those that are free, that we have licensed software that are proprietary to particular organizations, and we have a lot of free software. So if the software you want to use, if it is a free, you can go to the internet, go to the website of the manufacturer, and you download the software. Then you can. Sometimes you might download it, write it onto your DVD or your CD or from your flash or any of the external storage devices. You can carry them from there, and then you begin your installations process. And like I've explained earlier, the installation process have been made to be so simple, very easy for everybody to use, those that have formal educations. And that is an important attribute of computer software demonstrations. So if you want to insert it from your CD, if you want to install a software from your CD, you insert your disk into the internal disk drive of your computer or the external disk reader. you run the disk from my PC manually or allow the disk to run automatically. You follow the instructions as displayed after running the disk in order to begin the installation. Demonstrate the installation procedure for downloading from the internet. Go to the internet, go to the website. You can now download your software. You locate the directory where the software was downloaded. So having downloaded it into your computers, you locate where the software, the directory where the software is within your computer system. In most cases, they are in your download. So you go to the download and you locate your software that you have just downloaded. Then you run the program manually by double clicking or pressing the enter key on the icon. So once you are on the downloaded program, you can double click on it, then you follow the instruction, and the instructions follow the instructions that display after executing the download setup. And the instruction is yes, do you agree with the license? In most cases we don't read it, but it's very important, and it is not a very good practice. We are not saying we are lazy, or it's very good we should read it sometime, because some of this undertaking or some of this agreement might to some extent be negative to us. But of course, even if it is negative, you want to use the software, you have no option. You need to use the software. So we go into agreements in most cases without reading, or we have no any other options. What is graphical users interface? A graphical user interface is just for every software you develop. Most times there is an interface that is still fall within the usability attribute of the computer. A very good interface that the users can communicate. If you have an interface, you need to that maybe you want to a student or an applicant is applying and you're requesting for a CGPA without close to the box where the student is expected to enter the CGPA. You just drop the box without any message on it. The user might not know what is expected of them. So a graphical user interface, a very good one, provide or it make your software to be easy to use. So this diagrams just summarizes the installation procedure or guideline, software installation procedure or guideline. The first thing is when you cite a program disk, such as can be seen in the first slide, such as the photo editor programs in the optical drive. For first time the computer begin the procedure of installing the program, the hard disk to run. Once installed, you can instruct the computer to run the programs. The computer transfer the instruction from the hard disk to the memory, and of course the program executes so that you can use it. This program enable you to edit photo, for instance. So summary of what we have discussed so far. We say a computer software is a set of a program that control the behavior of a system. A software control how the hardware operates in order to carry out a task. There are two types of computer softwares. These are system software and application software. The system software is made up of operating system and the utility programs. Application software can perform function either as a general purpose software or as a specific purpose. A set of pre-written document and program supplied by the manufacturer along with the computer is known as systems software. Example of system software, we say it includes MS-DOS, Linux, Mac operating system, and Unix. Utility program, we say program used for managing and maintaining the computer and its device. So they're specifically designed to manage and maintaining the computer device, such as your base, such as the antivirus, that protect your computer against for attack. Then the common software application we use for carrying out defined tasks are called application programs. So application program are the software we use on day-to-day activities to carry out our specific task. Example of application software include the web browser, the Microsoft applications, packaging, presentation software, graphic software, on functionality, reliability and efficiency among the key characteristics of a good applications software. Some of the most common applications of computer software include automation of tasks, accounting, auditing job, communications, military aircraft, among others. Graphical user, GUI, we stand for graphical user interface, is used to present and control how information is displayed on a computer screen or output devices. So a software has to be installed before it can run on a computer system.